Hello, guys. This is just a little portion before the show starts. I just wanted to be able to tell you something that has been on my mind, and maybe reading this to you guys will help you understand something. Not just about me, but about human nature and about being accepted. Not everybody is going to accept you. Not everybody is going to take your side. And not everybody is going to listen to your side of the story. That's just the way it is. But I hope you give me a minute before we start our show to tell you how I feel. The way people view you. Sometimes I think about the different characters I play in everybody's story. I'm a terrible person in some people's narratives and a godsend to others. And none of it has anything to do with the person I truly am. The lens that others view you through is colored by the upbringing of beliefs and individual experiences. Some people see your bright personality as enduring, and others see it as annoying. Some people think you're weak and emotional, and others feel safe to be themselves around you. Some people think that you're rude, selfish. Others respect the way you stand up for yourself. Some people admire the way you take pride in the way you look, and others think you're conceited. And none of it has to do with who you truly are as a person. What you have to understand is that you have no authority over how people view you. So never try to control the way others see you, because the only thing that truly matters when the dust settles down at the end of the day is what you genuinely see in yourself. So always love yourself, guys. It doesn't matter how much people put you down. It doesn't matter how much people rise you up. Always love yourself. Always accept yourself. And just know that your past does not define who you are. Right now and the future does. So right now, just define who you are. Stand up for yourself, but also remember, it's okay if people don't accept you. It's okay if others don't feel the same way that you do. Know that some people will, but that's okay too. Just know you, be true to you. So I hope you enjoy this program this evening. I hope you learn from it, and I hope you understand that everybody has a past, but everybody has a future. So make sure that you become the future that you want to be. Okay, guys? Love y'all. I hope you enjoy the show. God bless you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shauna Spillin', the Presley Tea. And I do have some tea to spill tonight. This is personal tea. It touches home. And I have a special guest who is going to walk us through all of the topic for this evening. So, without further ado, I guess I'm going to get started with you guys. Mindi Miller is my special guest. And Mindi has been besieged about questions from the Elvis fans that Elvis is alive. Really, throughout her career doing this and going from place to place and speaking at her public speaking about Elvis, people have came up to her, even celebrities. We're not naming names tonight, but she is going to clear up these rumors about Elvis being alive, about people believing Elvis being alive. She wants to clear up all of this. I invited her onto my show to clear these rumors up that Elvis is alive. We all know Elvis died August 16th, 1977, but this is a story within a story tonight. So please stay tuned, because you will not want to turn this show off tonight. Mindi will be talking about Elvis's funeral in detail. She was there and stood by his casket for 6 hours, while 75,000 were able to view his body. She will tell you how she identified his body and she'll tell the world that it was really him. So, Miss Mindy Miller, thank you so much for joining me this evening again.
Donna, you are so welcome, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. This topic has laid really heavy on my heart for a long time, years in fact. And when I came on social media, when somebody put me out there 8 years ago, um, it was difficult. And I started a long, long time ago getting people coming to Facebook Messenger and then in person. And even if I would be out somewhere in a store or anything, people would come up to me that I knew, friends of mine, and say, "Is Elvis really dead?" And I said, "Yes, he is." And they said, "Well, how do you know?" And I said, "Well, I was there." And they said, "Oh, you were?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I was at the funeral. I was at his private funeral and his public funeral. And for 3 days and 3 nights, I I was there with everybody else that had been invited. And it was, you would think, a large group of people, but primarily intimate family, friends, um, the entourage, people like that really knew Elvis. And the rest of the people, like I think Maria Shriver and other people, came to the public funeral. So there's a lot of stipulation about who was actually at the private funeral at the house in Graceland and who was at the public funeral at Forest Hills. Now, when I got there Friday, I'm going to say Friday night. I don't remember the night it was, but I want to say Friday. I'm not sure. But when I got there in the evening, he was not there. He was at the morgue and he was being prepared and coming in the next morning, as I recall. And I very trepidly went up to his resting place, which was in the music room off of the living room as you turn to your right uh, after entering the foyer. And I very trepidly walked up to his casket because it was a frightening thing. I had not seen him in months. Um, Not that many months prior, but months. It had not been years, but months. And let's be honest, if you have ever viewed a loved one or someone that you know after their soul has passed on and it's just their body, their shell, laying there, a lot of the times they're not even recognizable because they're not there. They are not there. And it was a bit scary, to be very honest with you. I did not know how I would feel. And, he had, his nose was a bit, had fallen on his face. So they had to fix his nose. So people always say to me, "Well, it wasn't him." And I said, "Well, what makes you say that?" And they said, "Well, it didn't look like him with his nose and everything." I said, "Well, first of all, remember that he was not there." I said, "Only his body was there." And when there's no life in a body, they look completely, completely different. And he had been prepared to go home to the Lord. And, when I saw my mother in the casket, she didn't look like her. And this was my mother. She passed away at 77. I had known her for 77 years, and she didn't look like her because she was not there. So when people look at pictures and try and tell me that it wasn't him, I said, "Well, you're right. It wasn't him because he wasn't there, but his body was there." And that's what we are going to celebrate him. We're going to celebrate his body. We're going to celebrate his life. And that's why we're here. So when I went in, um, I was not prepared. And finally, when I regained more composure. I mean, I was composed, but I regained more composure. There was a chair there where people could sit by the casket and talk to him and view him and mourn him and celebrate his life. And I did that. I did that many, many times over the 3 days, morning, noon, and evening, and especially the longest prior to the day we took him to Forest Hills. So if you know somebody intimately and you know somebody well, uh, you see things on their body that you recognize, whether it's a tattoo or whether, it's a birthmark or whether it's a scar or something like that. Elvis had very definite earlobes. It may sound funny, but you can really tell a person not only by their palm, their hands, which are very tellable, but by their earlobes. And Elvis had some meaty lower earlobes, and he also had a scar above his eye, above his eyebrow. And when you know somebody, you can look at them and you can tell that it's them. Now, I've had people come to me and say, Mindy, you know Elvis is alive, don't you? And I always say, yes, he is alive. He's alive in my heart. He's alive in spirit. He's alive in 5D. Um, but unfortunately, he is no longer physically here. Now, I've had people come to me with the wildest, and I mean the wildest stories. And because it's happened so many times from different people over and over and over again, they would try and tell me that that was a wax figure and that it was a very, very hot day in August. Well, yes, it was. And that didn't I see the beads of sweat on his forehead, on his face, because the wax was melting? And I thought, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. You know, um, yes, he had makeup on. Yes, he was groomed beautifully. Charlie helped with the hair, as did Larry Geller. Um, but I try not to hold judgment against these people. And I'll tell you why, Shauna, because I know how many people loved him to the point where they loved him like a family member. And they just could not, and still cannot to this day, believe that the man has passed away. And I try to be as loving and gentle as possible because they are hurting. These people hurt, and they do not want to believe that he is still gone. I don't want to believe that he's still gone. It's hard for me to even believe that he's gone. For me, it's like yesterday. And I'm sure to his family members, it's like yesterday. We remember it very, very, very well. And I try my best to understand them and talk with them. I don't pass the judgment on them. I'm not mean to them. I don't bully them. I don't, I come to them with love, which is what Elvis would want me to do. And I know that in spirit, Elvis hears and probably sees everything. I like to believe that. That's my own choice. And, knowing these things, he would probably be laughing and swearing and saying, hot damn, yeah, I wish I were alive. I wish I was still there. He had an incredible sense of humor, um, and so I try my best to talk to them and assure them that unfortunately he's gone. But I always say to them, even when we finish our our talk or our discussion, I always say, if you choose to believe that he is physically alive and he is under, um, what do they call it? A watch. What do they call that, Shauna, when you are taken under, um, like the FBI watches for you, or
Witness protection program.
witness protection program? Thank you. People believe that. And okay, well, I had people come and say to me, well, Benjamin did not pass away. Lisa Marie did not pass away. And all three of them are together, somewhere very safe, under the witness protection plan with government and FBI, and they've all been given new identities. And again, I don't get angry. I say, if that is something that you choose to believe and that makes you happy, who am I? After I tell you my experience and that unfortunately he's not with us, I can't convince you. I can only tell you the truth. And it's not just my truth. It's the doctor's truth. It's the morgue's truth. It's the burial site's proof. It's The meditation garden's proof when his casket came there. There is proof. There has been proof for years and years and years. And I feel badly for the people that believe it. And I will say this in all earnest. There are a lot of people that really had me going. And I thought for a minute, I thought, could it actually be that what I was seeing was a wax figure in his casket? For for a moment of time, I actually thought, could it be? Because these people were so convincing and they were so good at what they were saying and the stories that they had come up with. And I tried to tell them over and over. I said, look, I was there. I was there for 3 days and 3 nights. I watched him. I sat with him. I stood at his casket on the right side when people came through the foyer. If they came through the foyer to look, I would have been on their left side, Elvis's right side. And I can only share with his fans the truth. And a lot of the times they'll say, well, it's my truth. But no, this is the truth. And there are three truths. There's your truth, my truth, and the truth. This is the truth. And it wasn't too long ago, I'd say a few months ago, that I was in Missouri and I was at a celebrity autograph signing weekend for 3 days. Had a wonderful, wonderful time. Saw some good friends of mine that I had worked with in the entertainment business. And my dear friend Cynthia Pepper was there. She had her table and all her pictures and things. And we all know that she co-starred with Elvis in the movie Kissing Cousins. And there were people from My Three Sons. There were all kinds of actors and celebrities that each had their table, signing autographs, taking pictures with the fans. And there was a gentleman next to me who shall remain nameless, and his lovely wife. And they are lovely, lovely people. He was on Star Trek, the original Star Trek, for years and years and years. I will not say his name. And when the show was done, he had his table next to mine, and he was selling his pictures and autographs and taking pictures with the fans. And he had trinkets and little dolls from Star Trek and, all kinds of banners and things, all the merchandise that they have. And as we were packing up and I was leaving, he said, hey, Mindy, he said, come on over here a minute. I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. So I went over to his table. And he said, I want you to know that Elvis is still alive. Now, I don't think he knew that I was at the funeral. And I looked at him. I said, really? I said, well, that's interesting. I said, how did you come to that conclusion? He said, well, it's not just him. It's Princess Di, it's Michael Jackson, Prince, and Elvis are all alive. And they've all been put under witness protection plan. And they're all living out of the country, in a different country, and they're all safe, and they're all happy, and they're all healthy. And I was shocked. And I was speechless for a minute. I was absolutely, totally in awe that this major, major celebrity and actor was telling me this. And again, I was very kind. I didn't blow up. I didn't get angry. I looked at him. I said, you know that I dated him. He said, yeah. I said, well, do you know that I was at the funeral? He said, no. I said, well, I was there for 3 days and 3 nights. I stood at his casket when 75,000 people walked through. I said, I can tell you without a doubt, without a shred of doubt in my mind that it was him. He said, no. He goes, what you were looking at was a dummy. I said, really? I said, were you at the funeral? He said, no. I said, well, what would make you say that? He said, I've talked to a lot of people that were there. I said, okay, but I'm one of the people that was there. I said, do you mind if I ask who you spoke with? He said, well, I really can't name names. I thought, okay, he's not going to name names. And I proceeded to talk to him while he was packing up his pictures and things. And he said, we do a lot of film work and TV work. And he said, I'd love to have some of your 8x10s and your resumes. And I, again, thought, I'm never going to hear from these people, and they're not going to do anything that they're going to use me in. But, this is what happens in the entertainment world. Okay. So I graciously gave him a couple of pictures in my resumes. And I said, here you go. And I thought to myself, whether they're just trying to be nice or they're just kind of grazing, meaning they're just kind of, grazing the grass, just kind of shucking and jiving me. I'm a big girl. I know better. I know when somebody's serious and when somebody isn't. But I was I've got to tell you, Shauna, I was extremely disappointed because this is a major, major star, major celebrity. And that he actually believed that these people were under witness protection and still alive. Now, here's the thing. I know that a lot of people, I mean, I have a friend, a woman who, again, shall remain nameless. We have been Facebook friends for a while. And after about 6 months of talking to her, she came to me and she said, well, Elvis is alive. What? I was shocked. I thought after all this time, she's going to tell me Elvis is alive. And again, I will not mention her name. I said, well, he's not. I said, and I asked her what made her think so. And she said, well, I'm with a group of people, which I will not say the name of the group, and we all believe he's alive. I said, well, why do you all think that he's alive? And she said, well, there are so many things that just don't make sense. I said, okay. And I wanted her to tell me. So she proceeded to tell me all the things that didn't make sense. And when I thought about it, I thought, again, could it be? Could it be from what these people are saying that it was not him? Could we all have been fooled? Is he someplace? And then, I have people telling me all the time about Pastor Bob Joyce. Well, what do you think about Pastor Bob Joyce? And then they send me, I guess he sings or something. And I've never, you know, followed him or gone to him, but they send me things. And they send me pictures of Elvis, and then they send me a picture of Bob Joyce, kind of in the same, excuse me, facial, um, like if Elvis is looking this way and he was, 35 or something, they'll show Bob Joyce in that same kind of facial thing. And they'll say, well, look at the similarities. Look at his eyes. Look at his mouth. Look at his chin. Look at his nose. And I look. And I said, okay, I can see a similarity. And they said, oh no, but this was Elvis's calling. Elvis always wanted to be a preacher. Elvis, always was at the right hand of God. I said, well, that's very true. I said, whether he wanted to be a preacher or not, only he knows in his heart. I said, but he also knew at a very young age that he wanted to sing and he wanted to entertain. But he always felt that, he would bring the Lord with him in everything he did in his songs and in his music, and which he did. I mean, obviously, he won 3 Grammys for 3 different gospel albums. And believe me when I tell you, if he could have brought the Bible up on stage and read a couple of verses or something from different chapters that he liked, he would have. He would have. But he couldn't do that. That's not what was allowed at that time. So it continues. It's been going on for years. And if people feel better believing that he is alive, then so be it. I can't change people's mind. I am not a soothsayer in that respect that I can just go, ooh, now you're believing this or now you're believing that. No, I can only tell them the truth. I can only show them logic and rationale. But I understand that many people in the past have thought that he was. And I understand it. But at the same time, I'm not going to find fault with them. I guess because I'm extremely understanding, I'm extremely loving, and I know that the truth will be shown at some point to all of them. And I wish he were alive. But I always say to them, look, he will always be alive in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit. And he's always alive in that way. And when I say that, Shauna, they understand. They get it. I just say, look, if he was here in body and, you know, he would have made an appearance by now. And I always tell them that he would never have done this to his daughter. Never. That wasn't who the man was. And he loved his daughter and his mother. Those were the two main women in his life that he loved the most. And he would never, ever have done that to her. And she was at the house at the time. And she saw his body, laying in his bathroom. And she said, what happened to my daddy? He would never have done that to her. So, I wanted to find a way to talk about this for a long, long time. And I didn't know how. And again, you've given me the platform to be able to tell his fans and the people that love him, because this is hard to do on my own page. And I don't have a podcast. I can't go over this. I mean, yes, I could probably make my own video, and put it out there, but it's not the same. Podcasts are out there. They will be out there for a long, long time. People can tune in and see them and go over them. And I welcome that for people. And, people can think that I'm crazy by saying that, unfortunately, he's passed away. They can say, oh, she's crazy. He's alive. Well, okay. And I can say, well, they're crazy. But I'm not that person. I don't call somebody crazy because of it. I just say that they're not knowledgeable. They loved him so much that they would like to believe that he's alive, you know? Um, and yes, it's heartbreaking. Yes, it feels like yesterday. But I want to share with the people that I talk to that still come to me that unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, he is not with us anymore physically. But we have his concerts, we have his music, we have his videos, we have his voice, we have his movies and films. We have so much memorabilia to remember him by. And that's what we have to keep in mind, that we can still hear his voice, we can still see him, we can still watch him. And in that way, he will always be alive to us, always. And we can always watch him perform. And thank God for that. The greatest entertainer that ever lived, thank God for that. That all of this has been kept, And I'm open for questions from you or from your fans that, that have any for me while we're here.
Well, you know, I was really debating about even putting this on my channel for a while because it's to me it's personal to me. I'll get to that eventually, but I believe that he died August 16th, 1977. But once upon a time, I was researching. I was trying to find everything I could find on Elvis, and I started researching when I was 13 about Elvis's life and history and Elvis and the.
At what age were you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what age were you when he passed away in 1987?
I was 4 months old. I was just a baby.
Oh my gosh, you were only 4 months old?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Okay.
I was born in April 24th, 77.
Okay.
And I was 4 months old, and the night that I was born, Elvis was doing a show in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the night I was born.
So, oh my gosh.
But anyway, I was 4 months old. I was a baby. So I got the tail end of everything.
Yeah.
When I was 5, and I was really loving Elvis, like really loving it. I didn't know he died. When I was 5, it was like he was still going because my mom was playing him all the time. The movies was always going on TV. I thought the man was bigger than life, and I thought that he was still alive because I watched him on my TV.
Well, let
My
me ask
mother.
you this. At what age did you, for yourself, find Elvis? Meaning, whether, I don't know if it was your parents or somebody that was playing his music, but at what age did you like become a fan that you were aware of him? Was it at 5 or earlier or later?
Oh, it was earlier. My mother instilled it at birth. She was listening to Elvis when she gave birth to me.
Are you kidding? Oh my gosh.
Also, I had an album. Elvis had an album the year that he died, Moody Blue. My mom went out and bought that album.
Wow.
That was my lullaby until I was 4 years old. I would
Oh
not go to
my,
sleep until it kept playing. So it was instilled very young in me to love him so much. But when I was 5, I didn't know he was dead because my mom didn't want to tell me that. I thought he was alive. And she finally said that he's in heaven. And I cried and I
oh,
cried because I was just a kid and I didn't really understand the concepts of heaven, but I knew that they were away. They're not of this earth nowhere. They're gone because my grandfather had already died at when I was 4. And it always haunted me because that's the first funeral with open casket I can ever remember. I was 4. And as you said, you look at the body
yeah.
and you know the soul isn't there. You know something's not right with them.
Yeah.
You know it's them, but there's something off. So my first memory of a funeral, I was 4. It was my grandfather. So I knew what the concept of being in heaven was. It wasn't of this earth anymore. But I cried and cried and cried. But when I was 13 and I was doing some investigative work to figure out who Elvis the man was, his history and things, that's the starting point of why I'm here now doing Elvis shows. I just had a passion for Elvis. I wanted to learn everything. Like I wanted to just inhale it all and remember it. But the thing was, I was also looking at 13 on Elvis Alive books and shows that was on TV. There was a Bill Bixby show. It came out in the 90s. It was called Is Elvis Alive? And
Mm.
I swear to you, I watched that show and it gave me a thought in my head like, well, could he be?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Bill Bixby's doing a show, maybe. So, I was investigating his history, but I was also investigating this, on the side.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, that Bible verse, anything is possible with the Lord. Yeah, maybe,
Like miracles do happen.
hey, you know, but I thought maybe, just maybe, it could happen. Well, after about I was 15 or something, I just quit investigating that. It wasn't, spinning in my head as the other Elvis stuff was, because I was really investigating Prissy Pants and her relationship with Elvis. That was my whole thing when I was 15. So I kind of tucked away the Elvis Alive thing and went on, investigating, his ex-wife. And then it came up again. It came up at the worst time, not very long after my father died.
When did your dad?
He died in 2008,
I'm sorry to hear that.
but he was such a big impact in my life. I was a daddy's girl beyond compare.
So you were really, really close to him.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we finished each other's sentences. It wasn't easy. And they all knew that it would be hard on me. So they all took care of me and stuff at my dad's funeral. But I don't know, I couldn't take the loss.
A lot of people can't. I have Facebook friends that come to me, Shauna, all the time and say, "Will you pray with me?" And I always say, "Of course." They come to me and say, "I've lost my aunt. I've lost my son. This one was murdered. My mother's in the hospital with cancer." I mean, you have no idea how many people come to me and want to share this with me, because I mean, it makes me feel not good that their loved ones are passing, but it makes me feel good somehow. And I don't mean that egotistically. I mean it spiritually, that they can find some sort of solace, whether it's in me or Elvis or something that brings them peace during this time. And I've had so many people say to me, you know, my mother just passed away and I was so close to her. And Elvis has brought me so much comfort during this time of her passing. And I said, how could Elvis Presley give you comfort? And I know instinctively what they're going to say, but I always ask them, and they say, because I can listen to his music. I listen to his gospel music. And we played his gospel music during the funeral. And I found such solace and peace and tranquility in that moment when I was wanting to cry or be hysterical or, you know, their loved one is gone. But Elvis Presley brought them peace, you know, that peace in the valley, you know, brought them peace and brought them some sort of emotional support, maybe even than more than a family could. And it's amazing that a man that so many people never met could affect them in that way. And it's not just adults, it's children. I've seen this man affect children 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. You know, they can barely talk at 3, but they're singing to his music, you know, and the fans send me stuff all the time about this. So I can understand when something drastic like this happens in someone's family, that they are going to lean on a member or lean on music or lean on something that gives them peace somehow. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I do. But it's just for that whole time, I was just real vulnerable because I couldn't I couldn't talk to him anymore. I would pray to God and I would say, you know, just tell Dad up there I love him, and you know, but
Yeah.
that 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 strength that's been on my side for all my life until that time was gone. You know, my rock was gone. And yeah, granted, I was an adult when he passed, but it made me feel like a child again. I was so sad for a long time, and people lose people and might not ever get over it.
That's
Um,
very true. Very true.
I'm doing much better now. It's been years. I think in time it subsides. It
It
doesn't
takes
ever go away.
it takes time.
Right. It's not gone completely. It never will be,
It never will be. Never.
uh, but but it doesn't hurt quite as bad,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but it
You
took a
have
long
to go on. You have to move on. Somehow we all have to move on, you know, and what are we going to do? We're not going to, we don't want to lay down and die. We want to honor them. We want to remember them. And, but you see, here's the thing that I've learned during all these years and with my mom and other many friends of mine passing away during COVID and prior to that, is that we don't cry and mourn so much for them as we do for ourselves.
yeah, that's
Because
it.
we selfishly miss them. I selfishly miss my mother. I selfishly miss my friends. I selfishly miss Elvis Presley. I cry for me because I'm so sad to lose them physically. And it's not that we don't understand that they are in spirit. We get that. We understand that. And if we're open enough and we have an open portal to receive them in such a way that we feel comfortable talking to them, um, you know, every word you say is a vibration, is an energy. And with every thought, it's an energy. And the universe picks up on all of it, all of it. So we have to be very careful what we say, very careful what we put down on paper. We have to be very careful of our words. There's a lot of mirror imaging that goes on when people are nasty to other people. Um, it reflects back on them and the kind of person they are. You know, we went over that with a person that we spoke about that you so graciously allowed me to talk about when I was on your show last time. And it's all very hurtful, that energy. But when people pass, we need to understand that they are truly, and I mean truly, in a better place. And we seek comfort here in what we are living on, which is the 3D experience. We are spirits, we are souls living a human experience. We're not a human being living a spiritual experience. We are spirit before we ever come here, and we will always be spirit, even when our body no longer houses us. So, as a human being, we seek comfort. And human beings here don't always understand how to get that comfort. They're not spiritually oriented. So, they don't know how to look within themselves to self heal and go through it. And most human beings look from the outside for the result of everything, for their love, for their self-respect, who likes them. No, no. You have to get that internally. You have to look for that within yourself, to love yourself, to respect yourself. Most importantly, to forgive yourself so that you can move on. This is the journey that God gave you. Nobody is a perfect person. Nobody. We come here to learn our lessons. That's why nothing and no one is perfect. So if somebody comes to me and bullies me and is mean to me and talks badly about me behind my back or tells horrific lies like they have, that's a direct reflection on who they are, not me. Not me. It's a direct reflection on who they are and how nasty they are. And I feel sorry for them. I really do. Because they have no concept. They're not moving forward with who they are. They're not learning their lessons. And so I say to people when someone passes over, get within your id, get within yourself, look within yourself for the self-love and the self-appreciation and the self-respect, because only you can give it to you. Nobody else can give it to you. They can sit there all day and say, oh, you're beautiful. You're a beautiful soul inside and out, and you're this and you're that. Thank you for that compliment. But if I don't believe it, what's the point? I have to believe it. I have to know it in my heart. If I know that in my heart, not based on ego, but on self-love, then how can I give you that love? How can I love you? How can I forgive you? I can't forgive you if I don't have that self-love to give you. I don't have that understanding to give you. It's about love. The whole thing is about love. And when you're not getting that and you're being disrespected and someone's not coming to you to understand why and where you're coming from, or why something happened, or why you did something, or why I did something in my life, there are reasons for everything. Have the courtesy, have the gumption to come to me and say, what happened? What happened there? And I'll explain it to you. It's not a big deal. Instead of all the hate that goes on out there, especially not just in the physical world, but online. It's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. And that's why I don't get angry at these people. I understand them. And if I can understand them without anger, that gives me hope that they will get it. And we go away still being friends, because there's no reason for them or for me to not like them. You believe a different way than I do. I have told you the truth, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person. I put on Facebook all the time all these little sayings that I love. And, one of them I love that people really resonated with was, don't judge the ocean by one single wave. Don't judge a human being by a mistake. Don't judge a human being by things that happened 40, 50 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We change, we move forward. We're supposed to do that. That's the lesson. That's why we're here. It doesn't make someone a bad person. It just means they made a mistake. Aren't you allowed a mistake?
Oh, I know that one pretty personally.
I, you know,
You know, just to throw it out there, after 2018, I was online and I watched some kind of like documentary, mockumentary, whatever you want to call it. And it was called Elvis Found Alive or something like that. And I watched it. And it kind of convinced me again and put me back in that mindset when I was 13.
right.
So after I watched that, I went into some Elvis Alive groups and I found someone who was claiming to be Elvis Presley, Miss Mindy Miller. Wow.
Why doesn't that shock me? Why doesn't that shock me?
It was crazy. It was crazy. But for me at the time, you know, I was thinking, whatever. Yeah. But this guy kept coming to me and giving me stuff and telling me things. And
but let me ask you, did he sound like Elvis Presley?
See, that's the thing. He never put himself, he never recorded himself. He always said that he was in that witness protection program story that you were spinning earlier, that he's not allowed to do his voice. But whatever Elvis question you threw at him, he would tell you. It would come right back. And I was like, well, his knowledge is pretty good.
So what? He had an answer for everything?
Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. He did.
But was it like a true answer depending on what your question would be, or what?
Yeah. I mean, I would even double check to see if he got it wrong, and he wouldn't get him wrong. So I started this thing with him where I said, let's do Q&A. Let's do Q&A. So I invited people in saying, ask him and he'll answer. So they'd ask him a question and he would answer.
Now, did you have a podcast at this time?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, then where were you? Were you doing this on a show or?
I was doing this on Facebook, on a Facebook group, in an Elvis Alive Facebook group that belonged to a friend of mine. His name was Brandon.
Okay.
And people would ask me a question. And
I had seen a couple of those.
I would type it to him. I would type it to him, and he would give me the answer, and then I would type it to the people. It was all online. It wasn't a show or nothing. And it got really interesting. But here's the part that got me. It wasn't none of that. It was what he was telling me and pulling on my heartstrings. See, remember, I didn't have my dad anymore. He was gone. He was 5D. He's away from me.
How long of a time had your dad passed away that this person was telling you all this stuff?
It was years later.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 9, 10, but it's still, I was missing my father and I wasn't in a really good place at that time.
Right.
And so, you know, sometimes we all go through stuff and we could be put in a bad place at that time. Well, I was going through stuff and I was in a bad place. Found this guy. He was telling me stuff. He was saying, you're like a daughter to me. Oh. Thank you so much for helping me.
Oh, wow.
And then he would say he would love me like a daughter. So I figured it was my place to either help him in some way or get his story out. So I was really kind of feeding into this fantasy. And like I said, guys, I never wanted to do this, but there's a reason why we're doing this show, and there's a reason why towards the end what we're talking about. But this went on for about maybe 6 months until I called into a radio show one night. And the person running the radio show says that you should be on radio. You have one of those personalities where you should be doing something, either in broadcasting or something, because you're not shy and you put yourself out there and you're just really good to listen to. And I was like, great. Well, this guy that thought he was Elvis listened to that radio show. And the next morning he said, that's exactly what you should be doing. You should be doing a radio show. You should be putting yourself out there, and I can give you my story piece by piece, and you can be telling everybody what my story is and how I did it.
Okay, but during this time that he's talking to you, were you still believing that this could be Elvis Presley?
At this point, Mindy, I did believe it. I made
Okay.
a mistake. I did totally believe it. And I completely forgot about what my mother told me when I was 5, and knowing I saw the funeral pictures, and
So
knowing that
the whole feeling overtook you.
it did.
And when it overtook you, and here you were being told by this person and somebody else that how great you were, which you are, but how great you were, and that you should do your show, and you've got a great personality, etc. It sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it became very overwhelming, and you got very excited and ran with
I
it. Is that
did. Yes,
okay?
I did. I really, truly did. And I thought I was helping this guy who called me. He said I was like his daughter, and I just rolled with it. We had about 30 people that were in our circle of friends and trust, and they believed it too. And they would, it was just like an everyday family type thing. I mean, he
Right.
would come on every day and talk to me. I didn't feel alone. I mean, this guy was always there, in some way, shape, or form. And then when I started the radio shows, he would give me information to put out there. You know, I didn't think anything of it. When I do a job, I put 110% in. So if anybody ever listened to them, which they're not out anymore, but if they did, they would realize that, because I do that on my show. I give 100%. That's what I do. If I'm passionate about something, I get it out there, you know?
Yeah.
But I did. And years go by, and I was getting red flags. Didn't want to hurt my friends who were still believing in it. So I just kept letting it ride. And I really cared for the man, because this is years later. I'm still talking to him. And even my husband would say, Shauna, you're probably talking to some old man that's lonely, and
Yeah.
you're probably just giving him what he's giving you, you know?
And that, you know what, that's a very good point, because I'm very guilty of doing that too.
Yeah. So, it was just
Yeah.
going that way. So, um,
You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, so you allow them to believe what they're
I
believing.
I didn't. I mean, he gave me gifts. He sent gifts to my house. I mean, this was crazy. He gave me a Lowell Hayes TCB necklace, and those are worth pretty good dollar. This is it.
Oh, oh,
I know. Normally, when you get catfished or scammed, you're the one that's getting scammed out of money or something, right? This guy, he sent me gifts. He sent me a real Lowell Hayes, real now, and I treasure it. That's the card that came with it. And then he gave me an Elvis Graceland jacket. That was a pretty penny.
wow.
And then he every Christmas and birthday of my little son, he would always give him gifts. There would always be a present under the tree from him for my son.
He actually sounds, I mean, I don't know who we're talking about, and I would never ask you, but he
No, I
actually,
wouldn't even know to tell you, because it's
yeah,
like I said, this was someone who I met online who said he was somebody when we know he wasn't.
yeah.
But
But he,
at
it
my
sounds like he really wanted to be. He really
yeah,
wanted to be Elvis Presley.
yeah,
He sounds like he wanted to do good. He wanted to give gifts like Elvis did.
yeah.
He wanted to be someone. I mean, it sounds like he needed attention, and you
This
gave it to
um
him.
this beautiful vintage tapestry of the Aloha behind me, he bought me.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, every year I'd get the best Christmas present ever, and I'd get a great. He knew that I loved Egyptian decor, so every birthday he would send me some kind of Egyptian decor, and or a peacock or something, because I'm into
Yeah.
it. But this
Oh,
guy was a giver, like a
yeah.
giver, like Elvis would be a giver, like without asking of anything in return. So
Right.
it was a play on my emotions on that part. Cause I'm like, what guy
Yeah.
does that? But he still called me like his daughter. He still said, I'm, you know, I'm
So
like
it sounds,
that.
and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like even if you decided that you were now going to believe that Elvis had passed away, that you didn't want to hurt this man's feelings and tell him after everything he'd done for you and been kind and sweet to you that that you didn't want to say, "Hey, you're not Elvis." Because
Yes.
that would have, and I'm saying this psychologically, that would have shattered this
Mhm.
person. That would have shattered him.
So I did not. And I had friends, as I said, friends that were believing it also, and I didn't want to hurt them, but I kept it inside. But what happened was I wanted to quit doing the radio shows. I didn't want to do the radio shows anymore. I wanted to focus on Elvis for real,
Yeah,
not on Elvis being alive. I wanted to focus on Elvis history. I wanted to get the story out there of what I have researched throughout the years and what I'm researching now and going forward. I
right.
wanted to be legit. I didn't want to keep going in this direction.
Yeah,
So, I even talked to him. I was like, I want to go on YouTube and I want to do it right, like all those other people. That's my dream. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do this you're alive thing anymore. And, he was all for it. This was before he disappeared, Miss Mindy.
oh, he
That's a
disappeared.
crazy
Wait,
story.
this guy, he disappeared?
Yeah, this guy faked his own death.
What?
Yes, I know this is what it's so is, and I had a conversation with somebody who found these, found, you know, found out about this stuff, and we talked. And I told her, I was like, the story's so crazy. I'm probably going to lose
When did he
listeners if
disappear?
I ever say this.
When did he disappear, Shauna?
He disappeared in 2021, 22, something like that. Or it just disappeared. He,
Do you think that he passed away from COVID? Because that was during COVID.
well, I mean, COVID's still out there. I just got it like 3 weeks ago. I'm
Yeah,
over
but I
it
mean
now.
that was the time that people were really dying. I mean, heavy.
No, it was, excuse me, hold on. 2022, I believe that's when he passed, or 23. I'm not sure. I was still talking to him, but I wasn't doing anything on my shows about this. This was, like you guys know, this is my channel. I keep it legit. Elvis history, Elvis everything. It's legit. I've never talked about this because this is personal. But as we're going into this catfish story, and if y'all know what that is, look it up. But it's when somebody pretends they're somebody else to gain something. It's not automatically if they gain money, but some of them do it to gain attention when they don't have it in real life. But I was still talking to him when I started this channel with my friend. And I didn't let him use his ideas for my show. It was all me, and it was all my friend who was my co-host. And what happened was he just said that he wasn't feeling very well, had like a fall or two, and he disappeared for a few days. And then a friend of mine gets a message on his account saying, "Hello, I'm his niece. Uh, he passed away 2 days ago. I'm so sorry. I'm so grateful you were his friend, though."
Wow.
And so we all mourned and mourned and mourned for this man that we never met who claimed he was Elvis. But even though I was having my doubts, there were red flags, trust me. But I just didn't want to hurt him. And I definitely
Yeah.
didn't want to hurt my friends who wanted to keep believing it. But I wanted to keep my story to myself because there was too many people involved and I really didn't want to hurt them. So I mourned and I was just completely felt like, even though I didn't believe anymore that he could be Elvis, he was still someone who was a constant in my life for about 5 years. And when I heard that, it brought me down to where I felt like when my dad died, because
Yeah.
he said I was like a daughter to him, and then it just brought that emotion. And when I was about to break down, that's when my husband grabbed me and he said, "Don't." He's like, "You've been catfished. You know this. So why are you mourning? And I said, because it was a constant in my life for years. And
Yeah.
I was just, he's not here anymore. And
Yeah.
my husband's like, no. He's like, we're going to go and seek therapy for this. And I don't really talk about therapy or anything, but I was listening to him.
Therapy is the best thing that
I
every
know.
single
So
human
he put
being
me,
can do for themselves. It's the
he put
best
me
thing
in,
anybody can do is have
he,
therapy.
he talked me into it. So I went, and I went once a week for about 6 months. And they finally broke that thing in me to make me realize, how do you know he's dead? He could be somewhere right now doing the same thing that he did to you and broke all y'all before he left, and it got me thinking. And the one thing that I realized when I knew I was completely catfished is he wrote this book. He was writing his book, his memoir, not about the fake death or nothing, just about his life in general, the whole from 1956 to 77. And I was supposed to be the keeper of this book. And he wanted me to say this book and put it out in the ether. And it was
But
a good book.
was he writing the book as if he was Elvis telling
Yes.
his story?
Yes, that's how it sounded to me when I had these transcripts of this book. Yes, but there's the kicker.
So let me get this straight. So he was going to write the book because he believed that he was Elvis Presley, and he was going to write his own autobiography. Is that right?
Kind of, sort of, but that's exactly what it was.
But he was writing the autobiography as if he was Elvis Presley.
Yes, okay. I will say that he changed. Yes. When I really knew completely that I was catfish, and what helped my therapy and helped me get over this completely is a few months after he left or faked his death or whatever, what happened. I decided on my YouTube channel that I would do Elvis History Nights. So I said, you know what, to honor my friend, because this book is amazing. It was true too. All of it. Googled it, all the accounts of Elvis's concerts, everything. It was just perfection.
So did he finish the book?
Yes.
Oh,
I was reading it. I was reading it on my show just like last year or a year after that.
Well,
and listen,
can somebody buy the book? Is it published or what?
No, it can't. I'll tell you what happened. When I was putting the book into words and doing my shows on this channel, Elvis History with Shauna, a friend of mine found a woman who was upset with me because she was telling people I was using her life work. And she wrote all of this stuff in 2012. And that's when I found out, literally, okay, right then. Somebody tells me, okay, this is my work. But then a woman in 2012 did this work, and I'm reading it. So I took all those videos down, and I apologized to that lady because I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I went to my friends and I said, we've all been catfished. I finally told them, I was like, we've all been catfished. I've been feeling this for a while. There have been red flags going on for a while here. Now I'm telling you straight up, this is the evidence. You can't tell me that this is his so-called book that I was supposed to put out in the ether, and it's somebody else's work. I said, that is plagiarism 101. And I knew for a fact I was duped. But even though I already felt it anyway, so it kind of helped me get over that hump. See, I still had that hump that maybe this could be a sweet old man that really died, and maybe he was lonely, and was a joke, but it was the only way to get attention. Because there was about 20 of us. There was about 20 of it.
The thing is, that's a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
On your part. And empathic people, including myself, I'm extremely empathetic, which causes me more problems.
It gets me in trouble with how I feel towards others.
I was just going to say that it gets us in trouble because we feel so deeply and so emotionally that we take on other people's personas. We will take on other people's troubles and whatever they're going through, and we'll forget ourselves, and we can allow them to completely take over our power. And that's something that you have to constantly reel in as an empathetic person. A lot of people will come to me and say, I'm very empathetic, I'm an empath in my family, and I hurt more so than the rest of them, and why is that? And I said, because that's just the way you are. It's the way you were born. And we have to really reel that in to keep ourselves sane, and healthy, and listen to people with their problems and understand that and help them, but not allow our power to be taken over, because we can lose ourselves. Elvis was a very empathetic person, extremely empathetic.
Well, I lost myself along the way, Miss Mindy. I'll tell you why. While I was helping him, because I thought I needed to, I did an interview with a guy on YouTube. There are 2 videos out there. And it doesn't look like any of my content. It doesn't have quality like my shows do now. It doesn't look anything like it. In fact, some people even wrote me and said it kind of looks AI-ish, even though it's not. It really happened. I said all the paper. He gave me all these papers of what to say this, say this. I said everything to the T of what he wanted me to say. And those videos are out there in the ether. And no matter what I do, they'll never go away.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago. And no matter what I do, they'll never go away. And I don't care anymore. I just wanted to tell you, and I wanted to tell my listeners that even though I did believe this and believe this catfish and believe this man's story, and even though he gave me gifts, I made a mistake. I believed for a while that, yeah, anything is possible. He faked his death. But do I believe it now? No. I was hurt. I was hurt. And to me, the therapist was trying to tell me it wasn't you were just hurt. You were also used. You were used. Whatever is hurting you, it's because you were used. He took whatever love you had for him and he went with it and he used it. And he didn't just use you. He used your friends, all the people who believed as well.
What he did, and it's like Elvis used to say, we all use each other, meaning we utilize each other for different things. I go to the dentist. I use him to clean my teeth or, whatever, fill a cavity. We utilize each other, okay? Well, but you don't misuse and abuse. And it sounds to me, from what you're telling me, that this man misused the goodness in you. He misused and abused the fact that you were going to believe in him and believe him, and that you didn't want to hurt his feelings, and he was giving you things, and he was kind to you, and you were empathetic towards him. And the fact that you didn't want to hurt this guy, and you're thinking in your imagination he could be some old guy, he could be lonely.
I was thinking it could be some old man, that wants attention. He lives in a home somewhere. And that's what he was saying anyway. Because if this guy was Elvis, this guy would be in his mid-80s. This would be an old man living in a home somewhere, right? So I was giving him what he was giving me, But those videos are out there. And I'm doing this on my channel. And there is hate on social media because people found out about my past, Miss Mindy. So I'm kind of in the bucket, like you were in the bucket with social media. When people find out your past, they judge you 100%. They don't care, blah, blah, blah. Now you have people that love you and that understand and they're on your side. But you have this hate coming from the other side that will spew. But I'm just saying, that's why I wanted to have a show like this. I wanted you to be able to deter the people that believe Elvis is alive to please at least listen. Elvis is not alive. Elvis did not fake his death. There was no fake body.
No,
it's kind of like programming yourself, like programming people.
Yeah, it was completely his body. And like I said, it can't get any more real than someone telling the public that I was there.
Yeah.
Nobody can deny that I wasn't there. They can lie and say I had one date. She had two dates. They can lie and say she's this, she's that, none of which is true.
Mm.
But those are the kind of people that are haters. They are nasty, nasty people, and they're going to find anything because for whatever reason you don't resonate with them. I don't resonate with them. I'm on a different plane than these people. I'm on a spiritual path. These people are nowhere near that. I have no reason to want to be where those people are. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not saying they're worse. We're on a different path. We don't think the same way. We don't vibrate in the same in the same vibration. I mean, we just don't.
Yeah.
And there are going to be people that are just going to decide that, well, for whatever reason, they don't like me. They don't like you. Okay, then
Move
don't.
on.
Then
Don't.
don't. Move
Who
on.
cares?
But at the same
Leave us
time,
alone and quit bullying us over our past and fake saying things about our past without knowing the full truth. I hate it when people find something about your past, throw it out there like it's going to hurt you, but then they twist it. They don't ask you about
yeah,
it. They just
yeah,
fill in the blanks
yeah.
for you. I
Well,
hate
and
that.
yeah, and the person that we talked about before um, has major past. Her daughter has a major past. Um, there are things I know about her. I don't say it. I don't write about it in a book. I don't go on, social media. Um, I don't start fighting on social media. I don't put nasty words out there. Why? I'm not going to come down to that person's level. Why should I? Because that hate is going to show people who that person is.
I think that's what's going on with me right now is somebody found out I did these 2 interviews without even coming to me. So they're assuming all the worst. And yeah, you watch the videos. It's what I used to believe. It's out there and it's crazy. But people make mistakes. I
Yeah.
don't believe that anymore. People are allowed to grow. People are allowed to move on. People are like the ocean. We can move. We don't
Yeah.
have to stay in the same spot. I'm allowed to change my opinion. I had changed my opinion because of the way the guy came into my life and the way the guy exited my life. So I am allowed this. I am allowed, but I am not allowed to go to their level and be on their level and fight and argue with them. That is not what I wanted or intended to do.
No.
I
No.
just want to go forward and do my shows because I love Elvis. This is not deterring me of loving Elvis. I still love Elvis. I love his music. I love his movies. I love how the man was spiritually. I love him. But because I made a mistake in my past doesn't define who I am now.
No, it doesn't. And it's like I said before, every person, and the person that attacked me for 8 years, and I'm sure still does and always will.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure she will. That's because that's who she is. That she'll never grow. She's not a person to move forward. She's a person that is stuck. And I feel sorry for her. She's stuck, and I don't want anything to do with that kind of mentality. Right. But the thing of it is that everybody has a past. Everybody has a history.
Mm-hmm.
There is no perfect person. So anybody that's going to come to me or come to you, they need to look at themselves first. Because nobody comes here as a perfect human being. The whole point in your soul and your spirit coming to this planet in the 3D experience is to have the experience so that your soul will grow. That's the whole point. If you're not growing while you're here, and if you believe it, do you want to keep coming back and go through all this again and again and again? I sure don't. I want to see I want to see as much of the planet as I can. That's what I came to do. Other people came for whatever their reasons are. They may not even know their reason for being here. They're stuck in a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they're a hamster on a wheel, and they never ask, why am I here? Why was I born? What is this all about? They don't ever endeavor into that at all, and that's okay. They're new. you know, but I am not going to come down to other people's level when I have come up from that. And I have done the work on myself, understanding that's not who I want to be. I don't want to bully people. I don't want to hate people. I don't want to lie about people. Why? I, I will never understand this. My brain cannot comprehend this kind of mentality. It just can't.
No, but like I said, I'm not engaging with these people that have found these videos because that's what they want. What I wanted to do is to be able to explain that this was my past to you, all of you guys, even you, Miss Mindy. I was gullible enough to
I didn't know anything about it, to be honest with you.
I was gullible enough to believe it back in the day, but I don't believe it now, and I shouldn't be defined by my past. I changed my mind. I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Exactly.
But it doesn't reflect my shows. You know, I've never pushed this on anybody. You, my listeners, I never have, and I never will. If anybody has questions after this video comes out, I will surely answer the best of my ability. But this was just personal to me.
Yeah.
Because of so many people online still believe Elvis is alive. I am not one of them. So whoever is doing what they're doing, because I'm not naming names, needs to hurry up and just back off. Because I washed my hands. I shout it to the rooftop. Once upon a time, I believed Elvis Presley was alive, and now I do not. Not at this point. Not at this time. The man died. The man was sick. The man died. People used him enough in his life.
Do you think, or do you feel like you should or should not make a public apology to the fans in any way?
Well, the opportunity is arriving. That's what this is for. Because, you know, I do feel bad of all the people that are seeing this on social media. Like, not all is going to know what's going on, because a lot of you guys are on YouTube and not on a social media outlet just here. Right. But those that do, I do want to apologize. In fact, you know, I wrote an apology. I'm kind of emotional. I can't remember, so I'm going to read it the best I can. So I just want to apologize for my actions. I want to apologize for my past. I want to apologize to anybody that I hurt, because people hurt because of stuff like this. I apologize because I know there's no real excuse, but I don't believe that way anymore. I also want to apologize to my friends who I didn't tell what I really truly believe, because I didn't want them to lose their fantasy or whatever they were in. I didn't want to hurt their ideology, I guess you could say, what they were going through. I want to apologize to the people that found out and were kind of throwing it at me, and I said things in anger, because we do things in anger sometimes. I know that a couple of people put a mirror to my face and I didn't like what I saw, and that's true as well. I want to apologize to all you guys for having to watch this video and kind of having to put the pieces together on what's going on, because now we're explaining it, you guys know. But I just want to throw it out there. I'm sorry, guys. I used to believe this malarkey, calling it that, but I don't anymore. I'm allowed to change. I'm allowed to grow. I'm allowed to move and not stay put in the limbo that I was in. You know, I also want to tell people that they're welcome to stay on my channel, the ones that love me and know that I don't believe that way anymore, and I haven't even put this on my channel. But those that want to leave are happy to do so. But I do feel bad because I let it go without saying anything. To me, I wish I would have said something sooner to everybody, including you, Mindy. But I just wasn't ready.
Well,
I wasn't ready.
Here's the thing. I knew nothing about it.
I know.
And to be honest with you, nor do I care. Nor do I care.
You're not like these social media people that are bashing me and every day hurting me.
No.
And not even caring about my feelings. They're just going with it.
Well, here's the thing.
They don't care about how I
The
feel.
you know, we've talked about this, and I talk about this to other people, and the truth will set you free. Because what's important is that you have your self-respect and your self-love by apologizing to yourself first, and apologizing to anyone or a group of people or anything out there outside of yourself will also set you free. It will give explanation to people that don't understand either what happened or what's going on. And this is my whole point. This is just one small lesson in your life that you've now learned. And how many other things are going to come up in your life, in my life, in other people's life? We're going to say, boy, I really learned from that one. Or boy,
Mm-hmm.
I can take 5 or 6 or 10 things from
Mm-hmm.
from that one learning experience and bring it forward, and and move it forward. That is the whole point in being here. This happened for a reason. You understand?
I hope
This
my story helps people, because
it
there are
will.
people
It,
that are talking to a fake Elvis right now. Please, guys, run as fast as you can. Really.
I
Just
know, but
run.
the thing is, we're not going to be angry about it. They're going
No.
to have to, they are going to have to play that out. You understand? Every human being, and we're all human beings here, or we would be in 5D. Our spirit would be not here anymore, but we are housed in a body. And in this body, on this planet, on this earth, we have to learn lessons. The whole point in learning them is for your spirit to grow. And you take that with you when you pass over the veil, as we say in spirituality. You pass over the veil. All right. How wonderful for you that this happened to you and for you, that you learned this experience. Well, instead of looking at it so negatively, we have to look at life positively. We have to look at the fact that look at what happened with you. That you've learned something incredible. You've learned so much. You've made an incredible, beautiful public apology. I mean, how many people can do that? When you do that, it shows what a sincere, loving human being you are. When people can't apologize, like certain people, narcissists will never apologize because they're always right. They don't know how to say they're sorry. They never will. Um, that's not who you are, Shauna. It's not who I am. It's not who a lot of people are.
Well, I
It's the
definitely want to apologize to the people that, when it all came out, I was a little angry. I said a thing or two, but I'm human. I'm not a robot. I have emotions and it comes out. And sometimes when you do things online, you better think about it.
yeah.
But I didn't. I was in an impulse. I was angry and I said a few things. But in the
But
end, I
Shauna,
hope
that's normal. It's normal. People
I'm
get
just
emotional,
I'm
and
just a human.
when they're emotional, this is what happens. And this is why when we get angry or we're hurt or
Yeah.
we're crying, we need to step back and say, I can't talk right now, let me get back to you later, or whatever. It's
Mhm.
another major lesson I've learned. If I'm emotional, if I'm angry, if I'm this, I don't talk. I go into myself. I stay quiet for 2 or 3 days. I don't talk to anybody. I'm not online. I'm doing my own thing, and I have to heal and figure the best way to come back from something. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you're talking about is normal. You're no different than anybody else. We are all one, Shauna. We are from source. We are all from one source. This is my point. We are all human. We all live. We all love. We all go to the bathroom. We're all jealous. You know what I'm saying? We all do the same thing.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
You know,
We all bleed the color red. Come on. We are one. We are all from one source. We are going back to one source. Give each other a break.
I
Let's give
wish
each other a break. But the people that aren't are not the people that are learning. And I feel badly for them because we have to learn from our mistakes.
yeah, I
I
made
I
one, and I'm learning and I'm growing, and I've changed my mind and I'm allowed to do that. But this is just to warn other people, be careful who you talk to on the internet, folks. If
yeah.
somebody says there's somebody just be careful. I don't want any of you to go through what I had to go through. We're talking therapy, almost having a nervous breakdown. Just the story itself was crazy enough, but it was just, I really loved the guy. I thought he was like a dad to me. And he kept telling me that I was like a daughter to him. So it really hurt. You know, it set home. It just, it was just a thing on my emotions. And just like any daddy's girl, father's girl missing their dad, I wanted to impress him and I wanted to help him by getting his story out. So if you guys see that video or those two videos going on of me in my past, that's about Elvis being alive, just remember this video and know that I don't believe in that stuff anymore. That it's okay to make mistakes, because I did, and to please be careful out there and don't get in the same position I was in. It's not a good feeling to know that you were played and you were lied to. Not a good feeling.
I know we've all, but like I said, Shauna, we've all been there. It
I
it
know.
it it hurts in the moment when we realize that that has happened to us, and it's hard for empathetic people like ourselves to toughen up. But I've really had to toughen up. Like, I don't even take friends anymore. I've had a lot of people come to me in the last month or two. And I mean, I have lists upon lists upon lists of names. And I apologize to them if they're watching this, that I'm not coming back to you, because I'm not taking any more friends. I've got trust issues now because of what I've gone through. And, because of that, I don't know who's spying. I don't know who's going to say more nasty things. And it becomes a turnoff. It doesn't become fun anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I only stay with the people now that I've been with for years, that I know have my back. I have their back, and we're real and we're true. A lot of them I've met in person. A lot of them have become very close personal people, friends to me. So I don't mean it to be rude to anybody, I'll say that here and now. I have trust issues, and I'm not opening my pages up to anybody anymore. I would have to do a lot of research on each person, looking at their pages, this and that. And, there are so many fake pages out now with so many people that are spying. And that's a sickness. I'm not involved in that. I don't allow my whole spirit to be around this kind of negativity. This is junior high. This is grade school. I'm a 74-year-old woman. I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
If I live 10 more years, I'll be 84 years young. Excuse me, I don't have time. If you guys want to go do that, go do it, but not on my time.
Right. And the ones that are harassing me right now about me used to thinking that he was alive, even though I don't think it anymore. They the end game for them. They just want me to shut down. They want me to take my YouTube channel and get rid of it. They don't want me in Elvis world at all. And I think that's just whatever. They could think all they want, but why should I run away? Why should I bow down to this? It's I already said I made a mistake. I already said that I'm sorry. I feel bad because of feeling that. I was hurt with the guy who did this to me. So why should I just throw in the towel? This is my love and my passion. Why would I just stop something just because they want me to? I think the best way in life and to go forward is to keep going, Miss Mindy. I'm not going to bow down and let them shut me down because they want me to. I don't think that that's fair or right. So I'm just going to go forward. That's all I can do. And that's the only strength I have in me left. And this is all I have. So, they've already made their point, let them lie in it, Miss Mindy. I'm just trying to say that social media isn't always what it's cracked up to be. And I'm getting paranoid too at this point. I'm not as trusting as I was before either. I'm coming out of this scathed, but healing. And I admit what I felt. But that doesn't define who I am today. Just because I believe this stuff, just because someone used me in the past, does that just mean I'm a bad person?
No,
No.
it doesn't. But the thing is, my question to every human being is, are you the same person you are today that you were last year, or 5 years ago,
No.
or 10 years
No.
ago, or 20
No.
years ago? Are you the same person when you were 20? Are you the same person today that you
No.
were at 10? No, that's the whole point in being here, in growing up and moving forward and changing your opinion. You know, yesterday I liked the color blue. Today I may like the color red. Does that make me a bad person? No, it
No.
just makes me a growing person. And, you know, I'm in the same position that you may feel that you're in, which is certain people wanted me to shut down my
I
pages
know.
and didn't want me to be on and didn't want me to be in the Elvis world and didn't want me to do this and this and this. You know
Mhm.
what? That's their problem, not mine. I'm here, and I'm here for as long as I choose to be here. Okay.
I know.
And because somebody else put me out here doesn't mean that I'm going away because that person wants me to. That person is not in control of my life. Nobody is in control of your life but you. Not your husband, not your son, nobody on the outside. Only you are in charge of you and your journey and your life. And perhaps in your belief system, the God of your understanding. Okay. But nobody, and I say this to the public that's watching this, no one is in charge of you but you. And you make your own decisions. You make your life happen or you don't make your life happen. And
Amen, Miss Mindy. This is why I
yeah,
love you, girl. You tell
yeah,
it.
you tell it like it is. You know what I'm saying? And so the point being is don't shirk out on anybody. Don't allow anyone to take your power. Don't allow anyone to bring you down. Yes, people say hurtful things. Yes, people do hurtful things, but this is where you're supposed to grow. This is why you came here. You came here to learn your lessons.
Mhm.
Okay, there are people that will never learn their lessons, and that's okay. We send them off and we say bye-bye, bye-bye. Release them with love in hopes that they at some point get it, you know.
Well,
um
I've learned my lesson, Miss Mindy. I will always know to be more careful in the future about what I say to people and about ever thinking somebody when they're not. I've learned my lesson, but
and that's great, and that's great.
um
And so here's the thing, bringing all this to light, should I hate you? Should I dislike you? Should I not like you anymore now that I know this about you and I've just found this out? Absolutely not. I adore you. I love you. I love you even more. And you know why I love you even more, Shauna? I love you even more because you're telling your truth and you're stating that you've learned a lesson in life. We all need to. And if we shared this more with each other, we'd realize that we're not so bad. We're not so
yeah,
bad as human beings. If we
yeah.
shared more and didn't hide so much because we're afraid we're not going to be accepted, well, you
Thank
know what?
you.
Because we're all living in this fear. We're all living in fear, people. I'm talking to all of you now that are watching this show. Y'all are living in fear, okay? I'm not from the South, I'm from California, but I love it when you say all y'all. But everybody's living in fear. What are you afraid of but fear itself? There's
I
nothing to
guess
be
I guess
afraid
people
of.
can be I guess some people are afraid to live their truth sometimes because they fear rejection, I guess.
Well, yes, because they're pre-programmed, Shauna. They're
Yeah.
pleasing their parents, they're pleasing the church, they're pleasing the pastor, they're pleasing their teacher, they're pleasing their children, they're pleasing their family and their husband. Everybody is pre-programmed before you get out of the womb, and you're already hit on the butt, and you're pre-programmed already. And your life is already set up for you by your parents or whomever, and whoever you were supposed to be coming here is already in you, and you're going to at some point have to reprogram it all because what you were brought up with may not resonate with you later on in life. People that are Catholics are like, well, I'm not really believing in the Catholic religion, and am I really going to go to hell? And when my spirit passes over the veil, am I really going to suffer? Am I going to be in hell? No, you're not. Because when your spirit passes over, there is no pain. There is no heaven and hell. You're living that here now. But somebody programmed that into you and told you that, and you believed it. Okay, well, I'm not going to hell. I'm going to try and live my heaven on earth and do the best I can, and integrate my soul as close to godliness as I possibly can, and do unto others as I would have them do unto me. And as it is the day, the night must follow, so the Bible states. Okay. And if we do our best and we come with love to people and understanding, wouldn't this be a better world? Wouldn't this be a world that we all wanted to come to in the beginning? Okay, it's not a utopia. There will always be war. There will always be fighting. But why? Because people cannot get along with each other, because there is greed, because there is ego, because there is money, because everybody wants to be powerful. It's all
There's
about.
also jealousy, Mindy. There's
But that's
people
what
who
I'm.
are jealous.
Yes, yes, of course. And so because of jealousies and what I've experienced, I'm the bad guy. And the minute I call somebody else out on it that started it, I'm the bad guy. But I'm not allowed to defend myself. Everyone is allowed to defend themselves. You are allowed to defend themselves. Everybody is allowed to defend themselves. But let's try doing it with love.
Yes.
Let's try not doing it with hate. Let's actually try love for a change. Can we do that? How
and
difficult
learn
would it
about
be?
forgiveness.
Yes. I mean, you're talking about Elvis Presley and all this. Who was the most, this man was one of the most forgiving men I've ever known, that I've ever met. He may not forget. No, I'm not going to forget. No, 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 I don't forget. But at some point, I have to forgive and move forward, don't I? And I have to do that for myself, Shauna. I have to do that for myself to be able to move on. Otherwise, I'm going to carry this with me. And you know what it is? It's death inside of me. It's negativity inside of me. That's not who I am. It's not what I'm about. It's not what you're about. It's not what any of us should be about.
No.
We should be about love and loving one another. And if you don't like something, keep on scrolling.
I think that's best, instead of being so evil towards each other because of what someone used to believe or because what someone said or whatever. It's just best to move on, especially if they move on too. It's just best. We're not supposed to be here to hate on each other, especially for our past.
Yes. And people come to me all the time. And you know what I tell them? I won't again say who it is, but somebody came to me. I think it was actually this morning. I don't remember. It was either early this morning or late last night. And they wanted to know about certain things about Elvis, intimate things. And I said, please understand that I cannot answer that question. I said, this is not something that he would ever want discussed. And I promised him a lot of things. And I promised him that I would never talk about certain things, and I never will. And I told this person that I speak about Elvis as if he were alive today, because he is alive in my heart, in my brain, and spiritually. And I said, I will always uphold his wishes, no matter what, whether he is here physically or not. And this person came back and said, thank you for that. Thank you for your honesty. But somebody else had talked about intimacy with this person. And this person wanted to come to me and say, is it true? And I said, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to take sides. And I've told certain people this, I don't take sides. I'm going to try to be as neutral as possible and see it from every person's point of view. I'm going to see it from your point of view. I'm going to see it from somebody else's point of view, because I'm going to ask the question, why? So allow me to understand why you feel this way, or why do you have anger? Why do you have love? Why do you this? Let me ask you in hopes that you will discuss things with me so that we have a clear communication and understanding, rather than just hating on me or me hating on you. Do you know what I'm saying?
I wish the whole world would feel the way that you do, Mindy. It's just not everybody is going to grow, and not everybody is going to move. Not everybody's going to feel the way that we do, that we can make past mistakes and we can overcome them and have a right to change our opinion, you know. But thank you.
But
I appreciate you
but
for all this.
but the thing is, Shauna, maybe communication and honesty will open people's mind. Maybe it will
Maybe.
maybe it will open their mind to help them grow. Do you know what
Maybe.
I'm constantly growing. I will be growing till the day I physically die, and then I will pass over the veil. But you know, that that's what I want for myself, for my own spirit, for my own soul. You know, my soul is the most important thing to me, because when I leave this planet, there's nothing else. I don't take with me my clothing or anything, or my home, or I don't my car, or anything, or my friends, or my animals. I take me, and me is my soul. And my soul lives within this body. There's nothing more important than having that be healthy and right. There's nothing more important than that. Not money, not power, nothing. There's nothing more important than that. But that is what people are so disconnected to. They're not even connected to who they are or what they're about.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, this is the opportunity where I'm going to tell you, audience, you might have been, some of y'all might been a little lost. If you guys have any questions and you want to ask me anything, just ask me in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. If y'all have any questions about how I was catfished, or any of that. But just know, my opinion has changed. I don't believe any of this. I just know that I was used and I was hurt, and it's out there. So now y'all know. You know, I told y'all this was going to be a bombshell of a story. And I might have missed a few things, just because when you're in it, you know, when you're in it, sometimes you might miss something. If I did, and you guys need to, you know, ask a question, please, by all means, do. I'll answer the best way I can. And also know that it's just my personal story. I mean, this is what I went through. Just like Mindi was with Elvis, that was her personal story. That's what she went through. She lived it. She was at his funeral.
My whole one date. my whole 2 dates with him.
Yes, I've heard that on the internet too. They think you only had 2 dates with the man. It's like, can you guys do your hate someplace else on Mindi? Okay, she my sister. Leave her alone. But
you know
guys,
what? Let them believe what they want. I was there. I know.
This
and
is
you know what?
I have to work with.
That's all that's important to me, is my own knowledge and whatever else. And the people that resonate with me will resonate with me, and the people that don't won't. That's
well,
all.
you know, haters are going to hate, Mindi. They're just going to hate. There's going to be people that love us, and there's going to be people that hate us. And we can't make everybody happy. But we can, if we do make a mistake, we can apologize, we can grow, we can learn, and never do that again, and just move on, move forward. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's what I'm going to do.
Well, like I said, people need to look at their own life.
I know.
Before they start throwing daggers at other people.
And boy, sometimes those daggers hurt.
Well, sometimes they do, you know, but
you know, they do. They hurt. So be careful what you tell people, guys, because, you know, I did have something I want to share. This is very important. This is my message to you guys, because this is very important. It might be something you haven't even seen, Mindi, or heard, but I had this prepared because this was something that touched me. So let me scroll and find it, because I had it on my Facebook page, and I saw it, and I couldn't walk away from it. So I'm going to read it to you. So here it is. You can't unsay what has been said. You can't delete what has already been done. Proverbs 13:3. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin.
Yeah, it's true. Because
So
you
remember that.
because the people that put out negative energy, when you speak, you're putting out energy, positive, negative, love, hate, dislike, whatever. It comes back to you. That's the way the universe works. It will always come back to you. And you're that person that is coming with the hate and spewing dislike and coming down on people. It makes them look bad. They don't realize it. It makes them look bad. Think about that.
And what we do when we're angry and rashness and we just you can't take it back. But we as human beings have to be careful because
Yeah.
it's energy, and hate begets hate, which begets hate, and it's a process that never goes away. Until you can forgive yourself, how can you forgive others? Just like if can you until you love yourself, how can you love others? But I just want everybody to know, be careful what you do and say.
Yeah.
Think about it, guys, and not do anything rash, because it could be your ruin if you don't know how to accept that you make a mistake, apologize, and learn to move on and learn from your lessons. I'm learning, Mindy. You know what I keep telling people? God's still working on me. He's still working on me every day. I
Every day.
pray I pray for people every single day, even the ones that hurt me, because to me, it's important to me. You know, I'm trying to work on me, but I'm also trying to work on forgiving others, doing the
And
best I can.
that's a hard one. That's a hard one for me
It's
because
hard. It's not easy. It's a hard lesson to learn.
it's very difficult. But again, that's why we're here. And love begets love, and that's why we have to reprogram, reprogram our mind, reprogram all of it, and decide who you are. Who are you today? Who are
Exactly.
you today? Whoever you were yesterday. I don't mean even you personally. Speaking in generalities, who are you?
Hmm.
Many people get up in the morning and go, "Who am I? What am I about? Am I
And with
going? Am
all,
I going to a job I hate? What do I really want to do? Who do I really want to be? How do I really want to live my life?" But they're stuck and they're afraid to look at themselves. And what a waste. What you have been given this incredible journey, as short as it is here. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to love, or are you going to hate? Are you going to commit crimes and wars and shoot people and diss people and disrespect people and disrespect yourself? Are you going to make a beautiful life for yourself and for other people and do unto others? Don't you want to be treated well? But if you're not treating other people well, how can you expect them to come back and treat you well? You can't, because you're putting out negative energy all the time.
yeah, and the people that are being mean, hopefully they can find a way to forgive as well. I mean, it works both ways. Eventually, it could if they want to grow. If they want to stay the way they are in limbo and keep doing the same old thing over and over and hating, then that's fine too, because haters are going to hate.
Yep.
But there's room for them to grow and forgive as well. As long as you learn the lessons that we're here to learn, we can try at least to
Yes,
forgive.
yes, we can, and I really pray that for everybody, because it's just it's too short a life. And you know what? As we all get up every day and go about our business, life is not easy for anybody.
No,
Nobody, you're not going to get out of this life alive, okay? You know,
no,
so make the best of it. Make the best of it with the best people, with the best. Surround yourself with love. Surround yourself with people that are positive. If you're not getting that, better to be alone and look inside yourself and change yourself. Change who you are. Become who you want to become. And when you do that, you will start attracting the right people. And if you don't do it, you're going to stay in the same stuck place that you are right now.
yeah, that's just the
You know?
best message to give, Mindy. That's where we are right now, and we're moving. We're moving.
Moving on up
Yep.
to the side to a deluxe apartment.
In the sky.
Moving on up.
But it's just better that way. You can
Yeah.
forgive others. Others eventually forgive you. Just move on.
Yeah.
Get better. Learn that you're human and you're going to make mistakes along the way. But guess what? We're still learning. We're still learning.
And you know
And
what?
and
How
that's
sad,
okay.
how sad if you're not. How sad if you're not, because what has happened is that you have not done with your journey what you're supposed to have done.
Well, I don't want to be there.
No, I don't either. I don't either. My God, I've made some
So,
terrible mistakes. Am I going to hate myself?
no,
Or am I going to choose to love myself?
you're going to choose to love yourself and
Exactly.
forgive yourself.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and that's what I'm doing now. So you guys, there's my story in a nutshell. There's my bombshell. And I feel so much better that it's out there. Nothing more can happen to me than it already has been done. It's already out in the ether. So there you
Well,
go, guys.
I have to thank you for sharing that with me because I was not aware of this.
Yeah. So it was a very big surprise to you. So I'm very glad that we could do that. I was just like, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the rumors of all these people that believe Elvis was alive. Let's debunk all this stuff. I wanted you on. I thought, I love you. I just wanted you on. You have a way of helping somebody uh, cope with things like this. You've been through it. You've
Yeah.
been through it. You've been through the ringer. You've been through 8 years of online bashing.
Yeah.
And here I am. I've only been through a few weeks of it, and I'm done with it already. It's
Yeah.
like I can't go forward until this is behind me.
Yeah. But the thing is, like I said, anybody and all of us as human beings, whatever it is in your life, get your truth out there somehow. Get your truth
Yeah.
out there. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your soul. Get it out of your body. Get it out of your brain. Know that you put it out there and move forward. You have a whole beautiful life ahead of you to live. Why allow this negativity coming to you, whether it's from people, whether it's a job, a situation? Don't allow it. You have to be in charge of you because nobody else will be, although they'll try to be.
Yeah, that is for certain. People think they are.
Yeah, narcissistic people, which is what I've gone through for 8 long years, they'll condemn you. They'll tell horrific lies about you. People have no clue who some of these people truly, truly are. But they'll find out because it's the way of the universe. It will come back to them. And so once you put that out there and you start really being in charge of you and your life, you won't allow these things or these people or this kind of energy to ever hit you again, ever. And you will know the red flags so that when you feel them, see them, hear them, you will run in the other direction and go, nope, not me, not today, not ever.
Yep.
The best advice I can give to anybody,
That's what I'll do. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's no reason to keep this stuff going when I already know what my truth is. I know I don't believe in this stuff anymore. Just because I did doesn't make me a bad person.
No.
It just means that I was believing it. I was vulnerable. It happened to me. I let it ride. I let it ride probably because I was lonely too. He reminded me of what my dad was like in the past, and I just let it ride. But the thing is,
and it's okay. And
I cared about others' feelings. I was so empathetic
Yeah.
to everybody's feelings and their needs that I didn't think about my own. So next time, I'm going to be more aware of that.
Yeah. And you know what? Just tell people honestly what I do. I said, I'm so sorry, but I can't go there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do. And I apologize first. Not that I even need to apologize. There's no apology needed. That's just who I am. And I have my boundaries now. You have to set boundaries,
Yeah.
and don't feel badly about your boundaries, because that is called self-respect. If you don't set boundaries in everything in your life, again, with your family, your children, your schooling, your boss, your whoever, social media, if you don't set your boundaries, Shauna, you will not have the self-love and self-respect for yourself, because you will always be doing for others and not for yourself. And more times than not, nobody's going to come back and be there for you.
No,
They're not.
I get it.
They're not. Very few people will be. I know this. I put out, and some people I get back from, and other people I don't, and it's okay. I don't do it with the expectation of getting something back, but once in a while, it's nice. It's real nice, you know.
Yeah, it is, but I'm just going to go forward. And I know that's what you're doing after what happened to you. And I love you. Thank you so much for coming on my show,
Love you.
explaining to everybody Elvis is dead, that he did die, even though it's still sad.
Yeah.
Wish
I
he
I
wasn't. But
I thank you for allowing me to come on and say that, because I cannot tell you literally how many days a week I have people come to me and go, "Is he really? Is he really dead? Is he really alive?" Well, blah, blah, blah. And I constantly have to reiterate the same thing. And I do it with love, but hopefully enough people will see this where they will come to your podcast and hear me, and hear what happened to you, and know, you know.
yeah, please come with love, guys. I'm sure some of y'all have even been through similar experiences. It probably might not have been an Elvis impersonator catfishing you. It could have been some guy, like I had a girlfriend that was catfished by Johnny Depp. Oh, it was hilarious. I did. I was like, "How are you? What? What's going on?" And she goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's this fake guy saying he's Johnny Depp. I know it's not him because he's in court with this Amber Heard trial. So why is he typing to me right now? He's in court. There's a camera on him, and
Yeah.
apparently he has no phone on him." And I was laughing, but the thing is, it's not even celebrities. Some people just pretend to be other people for attention or to scam you.
Well,
So
a
please
lot of
be
the
careful
time,
out there, guys.
they don't like their own life.
Yeah, I know. It's
So
crazy. They want to get away from what they have.
when people don't like or know who they are, they will delve into other personalities, which is a
Yeah.
lot of what actors do. They,
Hmm.
I mean, I loved acting because I got out of myself. I was able to tell a story and become somebody else, no matter who or what that was. I was somebody else. It was
Hmm.
pretend, even though some people will say, "Oh, that's not pretend. You really did blah blah blah." No, no, I didn't.
Haters gonna hate, Mindy.
Haters gonna hate. Go ahead on, you know. But point being is that we all need to move on, and we all need to come to each other with love. And I know there are days when we're not feeling it, and somebody's flipping you off on the freeway. Things happen.
Hmm.
That's just what happens. It happens.
It
But
does.
but let's just try it. Try it. You know, try love.
All
Try
you
love.
need is love, love.
Try
All you
love.
need is love. I get it, honey. But I don't want to keep you very much longer. You are welcome on my show at any time in the future. I hope you luck. You're going to Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get to go to Stephen Pittman's Elvis weekend, which is going to be incredible. Everything is like sold out. It's crazy.
Wow.
And I will be in Baden Neuham, Germany, which is in or near Wiesbaden. And, when my gig is done, I will go and trace the walk of where Elvis was and see his house and where he stayed and stand next to his beautiful new statue. And I
Hmm.
don't know if we'll be allowed on the barracks or not, but we'll see. And I'll take pictures and videos and hopefully be able to share them with everybody. And I'm very, very grateful for this experience. I've been to Germany before, and I know Stephen before. We've worked together 5 years ago. He's a lovely, lovely gentleman, extremely talented. And he's having, I mean, I don't know, 10 of the best ETAs from all over the world coming in. So this is going to be something really spectacular. Again, for
Mm.
me, it's spectacular. Somebody else might say, oh, well, it's, very nice, and that's fine. But for me, I'm really looking forward to it and looking forward to going to Germany and seeing friends I've met before. So,
It sounds epic. I wish I could
yeah,
go with you. Please
yeah,
put me in your suitcase.
I know, I know, I know, I know.
But anyways, I hope you have a good time. Please be safe. I love you to the moon and back. Thank you for
Yes,
being with
ma'am.
me tonight. I didn't mean to to get you on with you not knowing my story, but I wanted to be pure. So thank you
It's a
for
good,
listening to me.
it's a good thing. It's a good
Thank
thing. It's
you.
all good. It's all good. Mwah.
Well,
Love you.
mwah, I love you too, Mindy. All right, guys. TCBTLC. God bless you all. And you know what? I'll see you on the other side.
Bye,
Okay?
Elvis fans.
Yep.
Bye.
We love you, and I hope I see you guys back. You know I do love each and every one of you guys. I hope I see you back on my channel again. Mwah. Bye now.